Day, Lauren.
Oh, happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. I've always wanted to be a father.
Uh,
I really do. Honestly, if I had to say, I feel like fathers get the better gig.
yeah, yeah.
But the
They,
grass is always greener. So do they really get the better gig?
it's just different. I think
Ugh.
it's just different.
Well, we have a guest today who we should carve a statue for him. His name is Josh. He has two sets of twins.
Ooh.
Spoiler alert. I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah.
And when we were taping this, he was still kind of in the eye of the storm.
Oh,
But it was interesting because he's such like a hands-on dad. And
that's
you don't get a choice, man. When you have one set of twins, you got to pitch in. But when
yeah.
you got two sets of twins,
Ugh,
exactly.
a lot.
Exactly. Oh, but I like Father's Day. I think Mother's Day is more important because of course I'm partial. But do you
Yeah.
guys, I know that you have a Father's Day tradition, or you did for
We
many,
did
many years.
for many years, yes.
What
We
was your Father's Day tradition? Because I
we
love that.
we packed up the kids and food and we went to the Belmont racetrack and watched the horses run with my friend Chrissy and her husband and kids. She would do it separately, like before we became friends, and then we realized that we both did it. So then we did it as a group. And it was good because they have like kids stuff. They had like bounce houses and pony rides so that the kids didn't have to sit and watch these horse races. But then the dads would like go get a cigar that would be hand rolled for them, or they had like like you can get a shave
Wow.
there was like a lot of stuff that, and then the guys would gamble and it was just a fun thing. um and then COVID happened and we saw some horses that had to be put down, and we were like, the kids hated it. They were like, we don't want to do this anymore, and I was like, no,
No,
we're not scarring our children. No more childhood trauma, please.
you've had enough.
We've had enough. And they're teenagers now. They don't want to be like going on a bounce house.
Yeah.
So now my husband and his father, who was here last year and he's going to be here this year for Father's Day, their new thing is to get up early, grab some bagels or an egg sandwich, and then walk across the Brooklyn Bridge together.
Wow.
Yeah, they did that last year, and I think they're going to do it again this year.
They should come here for lunch or dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to come back and we're going to do lunch and dinner here, but they go very early, like 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's get to Brooklyn, walk
So
across the
nice.
bridge. So yeah,
And that's the best time of year to do it when the weather
yeah,
is still not excruciating.
yeah.
I don't
So
have, when you were growing up, did you have like Father's Day traditions?
no,
No. Did
no,
you have Mother's Day traditions?
no, no.
What? This is ridiculous. I always admired your Father's Day tradition,
Yeah.
like pre-COVID. I like that you guys did that.
And for Mother's Day, we used to do the Bronx Zoo
That's fun.
because before that, I'd always have a disappointing Mother's Day. I was,
Mhm.
oh, it's going to be so fun. So at least having an activity and something that we knew was going to be chaotic, we knew what we
Yes.
were getting into.
Yes.
And my friend Chrissy, again,
Good.
we would all go together, and like she has a big extended family. So like she'd have a brother that would come with his wife, she would have her mom come, and it would be like a whole tribe of us going through the Bronx Zoo on Mother's Day, like
I
taking,
like that. I
and
think honestly, with like just like Thanksgiving has rituals,
I
I feel
think,
like Father's Day and Mother's Day should, because then nobody feels disappointed if you
yep,
know what's going to be
exactly.
expected.
Yep, exactly. And I didn't want to have to host people and have to cook on Mother's Day. I'd rather make a bunch of sandwiches
Yeah.
and push a stroller around the zoo on
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
Oh,
So
babies. They're
yeah,
grown up. What are they now? They're pushing
now
strollers around.
they're gonna push me in a wheelchair soon.
Amen. I'm getting a scooter. I don't want them to have control of
Yes,
me.
I love a good electric scooter.
Scooter races at the Bronx Zoo for Mother's Day.
We'll bring our grandkids and do it. We'll put the kids on the scooters and just run people
I
over.
love it. I'm no helmets. We're just going raw.
That's
Done.
it.
We're doing it. What for all that 2 miles an hour that you go? I'm putting them in the basket.
We need a flag and a bell or an air horn. Watch out, here I come.
I want a big foghorn. That's it. Or I want the DJ one. Like that. I want that
We
one.
have one of those things that like those what are they called?
Like the kazoos, like the whoop, like that.
The big,
Didgeridoo.
no, it's not it's like one of those things that you speak into and it makes it louder. Megaphone?
Megaphone. Yes.
We have one that has different sounds and stuff. So I'm gonna
By the way,
bring.
we can never go on a game show because your hand signals just now of a megaphone. I had no idea. That was way too long. I don't know what you were
We're not
playing.
gonna play Pictionary or charades. I'm
Yeah,
bad at
that was not good. You're good at so many things. Now I
that.
found
Is
something you're
one
good
I'm
at.
not good at.
Yeah, clearly. That was a tough one. I don't know. I was like, where are you? My initial guess was a didgeridoo, Lauren. That's what I thought you were playing. Oh, all
Okay.
right. Are we ready to listen to Josh and hear about all of his fatherhood woes with his 755 sets of 20s?
Yes.
All right. Buckle up. Here he comes. Josh, officially, welcome to the podcast.
Finally.
Finally is right. Josh, you have way too many sets of twins.
2 sets.
How did this happen? Was this some deal that you made with the devil? Did you pick up a shell once in a beach when you were 17 and make a wish? Was it a Zoltar ticket, like in the movie Big? How did this happen?
Great movie, by the way. Great movie. I don't know what I did in a past life. I either did something bad or did something great to be blessed with this, right? But yeah, there's to have. I was gonna say if we'd have recorded this by when I applied and first reached out to you, it would have been 2 sets of twins under the age of 2. My first set just turned 2 as of February 28th.
Oh,
So I can no longer say I have 4 children under 2. I have.
that's a good thing. That's a positive thing to say.
Do you know what it is? It's I've survived. We've survived.
God, isn't that funny? Like we look at it that every time somebody has a kid, right? You get to learn things that you never knew before, right? And so when we say with twin families that we learn things that we're never going to use again, which is one of the big reasons why I created Twiniversity, right? Like I did not assume I was going to have another set of twins like you probably should have. So like you learn all these things and you go through everything the first time around, but you have this wonderful insight into having kind of like a redo of your twinning. And so today I really kind of want to dig in on some of those changes that have taken place in your life, maybe some that you should have done early on with the girls and then, didn't do till you had your boys because you have your girls first and then you have your dudes. Yeah. But I really want to try to help twin dads have a more positive experience. And not that I'm saying that I want to take moms out of the equation, but I just literally, Josh, want this to be from like your brain just spilling out right here in a positive way, not in a CSI kind of way. That would not be positive whatsoever. No. But I value the whole redo and the do-over and, what you did twice, what you did once, but did second, did differently the second time around. So before we even dive into that, give us a little background. Like, when did you find out it was twins? Do you have twins in your family, as everybody says, right? Is your wife a twin? And that's was, just going to happen. How did your first experience into the twin world occur?
So there are no, as far as I'm aware, there are no twins on either set of families. So there are 2 sets now. So we have booked that trip. But yeah, we recently were married. So this is what the girls are 2. So this is just over nearly 3 years ago. But basically, we had a big wedding planned in Europe, in Ireland. My wife's Irish. I'm from England, and we are both here, which we just realized not too far away in New York, right? So, so we had a large, with a big traditional wedding planned in Ireland, and unfortunately, COVID happened, right? So everything was shut down. Nobody could travel, nobody could do anything. So we decided to park the whole big wedding thing, and we booked a holiday to Barbados, and we were like, right, at the same time we just looked up and thought, can we get married here? So the 2 of us got married on the beach. Right, no family, no nothing. little did we know that would be the last ever holiday we go on as a two. You know, we got pregnant on that same trip. I say we. I always use the royal we, and I get, you know, social media comes after me for using we, but you know, we're in this together, right?
Yes.
This
That's
is
great. I don't know how anybody could possibly poop on that. That's extraordinary. So yeah.
We had a post on Instagram go like viral when we announced the second pregnancy, and then the trolls in that were wild.
I'm sorry.
But listen, I'm here for it. I've got thick skin. So yeah, we got back and we found out that we weren't really very well versed in the US medical system, so we didn't know what to do. You know, Robin found out she was pregnant. We went for a scan super early. Okay. We went for a scan at I think 6 or 7 weeks. So when we first went, there was only one. We only ever saw one egg, and we went back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later for the official scan, and lo and behold, there's two.
Ugh.
And that is the girls. The girls are identical, right? So, and the boys, what was 18 months later, the boys are fraternal. So we, you know, the two sets. You know, I don't think there's anything that can ever really prepare you for what you find out, right? From a you know, expecting twins. And one of the reasons why myself and Tom you know, set up we have a podcast as well called Double Trouble, the Twin Dad podcast, is, you know, we wanted to, like you said, there's not a huge amount of information out there for twin dads specifically, right? Rightly, you know, or wrongly, that, you know, a lot of the information is focused on, well, probably not wrong, but rightly, you know, on the twin moms, or what to expect, and, you know, the fantastic stuff and the information that you and the team over at Twiniversity provide, you know, which we used as well, right? But we wanted to create something that would just let people know it, you know, and let the dads know that it will be okay. You know, if we can do it and we can get through this, it will be all right. Yeah.
It's critical. And, you know, the thing is to that point, we could only do things from our perspective, right? If we had, I would love to have a twin dad like on staff. Like that would just be absolutely extraordinary. We've never been able to either, because typically they're the ones that are out and moms are typically home breastfeeding. It's just never happened. So it is a very, very female skewed entire community. And that's just because that's what we're building. But I absolutely love that you're creating a home for twin dads to just feel typical, right? Because the thing is, you know, it's so isolating and weird. And everybody's like, oh my God, you have twins. I don't know how you're going to do it. Blah, blah, blah. Better you than me. It's like, yeah, just shut up. Like, this is our life. Like, what were we supposed to do? Leave one at the fire station? Like, this is just our reality, right? So we just got to do it.
Exactly.
So now with that being said, with your podcast, like, is every episode giving points to dads, or are you just like sharing the misery and joy that is being a parent of twins?
It's the latter, right? It is a full download on you know, we could do it for 3 hours every week. It's a full download on the excuse my French, on the shit that happens in that week, right? Each and every day is a new challenge, is a new adventure, right? And, you know, as we were just laughing about at the start of this, Tom and I jump on the pod, and before we even say hello, it's recorded, it's raw, it's out there, you know, it's and I think it's a very unique situation. Like, Tom is my best friend forever, right? The fact that he has 3-year-old twin boys, and then, you know, I follow up quickly afterwards with 2-year-old twin girls and 6-month-old twin boys, right? We, you know, there's this perspective of being best friends, being able to probably say things that you wouldn't be able to say to, let's just say, a random host, right? You know, I've talked about my anxiety, and, you know, I mentioned it earlier, you know, how I just when I found out when I found out I was pregnant Robin was pregnant with the second set of twins, my anxiety would just take over, and I would just I think it was mainly down to the part of like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
I think there's so much, so much pressure, so much like you're so overwhelmed with that thought of, it's not just one, right? With one, and with a singleton, you can pass off the bait. I mean pass off in the nicest possible way.
But
Like,
you
if you need a
can
break,
take shifts.
yeah.
Yes, I totally hear you.
If you need a break, or you need a lie in, or you can get that. If you're in partnership, if you're as part of a team, you can get that with your partner. With twins, and I laughed with somebody yesterday. I met somebody for coffee yesterday who was a twin dad, but it was for work, right? And I said, "Listen, you're in the brotherhood," and we didn't even talk about work for an hour. We just talked about like the stuff that he's going through. What am I going through? What have I been through? And I just said, like, as a dad, there is so much pressure, but it can be lonely, because it all very much depends on your own individual situation. But if the mum's breastfeeding, what do you do? What do you do as a dad? How can you help out? A lot of the time you probably feel like a spare part, and all of this kind of thing. So Robin didn't breastfeed, right? So I was able to help out on the bottles and help out in the evening, whereas Jess breastfed. So Tom was like, sometimes I was just sat there like I don't know what to do. What do I need? How do I help? And sometimes you feel a little bit helpless on that. And and then on the other side, we created this to, like I said, just to let the dads out there know that it'll be all right. And Robin and I, we live here in New York. We've got no family around either, so we are truly alone. The girls are in daycare, during the week, but you get to those weekends, and you have to. Sometimes we sit there on a Sunday night and look at each other and think, shit, that was like a hurricane. Sometimes, and you go back to work for a break, and people that tell you they don't, and people that tell you that work's the hard thing, I'm like, that's BS in mine. The weekends are hard, right? They don't know.
It's true. But Josh, I always say everybody's hard is their hard. Like they don't know our hard. I don't know your hard with the two sets. You don't there's everybody's difficult. And I really try to keep that in mind when working with all of our clients, because there's something that I could say, come on, like in my head, I might be like, come on, that's like so simple. Like, why are you stressed about that? But you can't ever choose like what people get stressed over, or why people get anxious or why people do what they do. But I certainly know that it is significantly easier to work like hard than be home with two monsters that are trying to plot your murder, right? Like it is a challenge. So I stayed home with my 20s, and when I created Twiniversity was the day they started kindergarten. And so I would only work while they were in school. But as soon as school was out, I'd pick them up. My son had a few different therapies, so I'd take him to things and then come home, and then you do your shift as a mom. There would be so many days that I was so envious of my husband because he ate lunch. Like he was clean. Like he didn't have anything on his shirt. He didn't eat goldfish that was left in the stroller seat, for lunch. Like that would be like my lunch for a while.
Yeah.
So the grass is always going to be greener, because then like eventually, like you're going to get to the point with Robin, the same way that I got to John, that your kids are going to get big, and you're going to sit back and you're going to look at it and you're going to say, okay, we really did the best that we could.
Yeah.
Honestly, that wasn't so damn bad.
Yeah. And that's all you can do, right?
Absolutely.
Is the best that and I think like I said, with the pod, it's an unfiltered view into our lives, right? And I think one of the things that we wanted to, I said at the start, like one of the things we wanted to give people was the sense of, it will be all right. Like, this is, if we can, like I said, if we can do it, you can do it as well, and we'll just give you an insight in terms of the stuff that we're going through.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's relatable, given that we've, Tom is a little bit ahead of me, I ask him questions and he's like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. In fact, I blacked that out. I don't want to ever go back to that, potty training, all that kind of stuff. He's like, and I'm like, oh no, my anxiety's back again. Maybe I need a drink. Yeah, it was just more this unadulterated, unfiltered, view into our world, and it's still, but like I 100% agree, like I already feel it now. I was just lying with the boys just before I came onto this, and I was enjoying the moment of them laughing and giggling because those moments are a few, we're on a timer with those moments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. You only get 6 months once.
I know. The day, what's the saying? The days are really long, but
the years are short. Damn, that's true, right? My 20s are 19, and holy shit, it happened in about 20 minutes. Like if I look back and I could say, well, time has taken its toll on me. Like I could see the 19 years on me easily, but we did really great with our kids. And it was, I have no regrets. And I think that's an important thing, that my husband and I were always on that page. He's very much a live in the moment, and I'm more, let's plan for the apocalypse. Like we have two very different humanity styles.
Yeah.
And so with you and Robin, do you find that you're usually on the same page when it comes to the 20s, or is there one of you that typically takes the lead?
It depends who you're asking. No.
But seriously, from your perspective, right? Because she's not here, so we can't get her perspective. But from yours, and remember, this is like, I want to pick into your brain, because I could speak probably for what Robin's thinking. There's a better chance of me guessing that than what you're thinking.
Yeah, I would say, I think if I was to summarize it, right, our parenting style is a true partnership, right? And I don't mean that a true partnership in a 50-50. There are certain things that Rob's will take the lead on, right? In terms of right now feeding the boys, food prepping, all of that kind of stuff, for the boys, right? There are certain things that I will do for our family in terms of, like, I will cook for Robin and I. So there's the give and take from that point of view. I think one of the ways that we've, it's really working sort of well for us as it stands right now, is that, the core fundamentals, i.e. like bedtimes, what the kids eat, like what the kids watch, and like just the way we sort of predefine those, very early on. So there was like some non-negotiables that we would have. And don't get me wrong, that you have to be flexible, you have to be malleable with anything in parenting, right? Because there's curveballs that get thrown at you the whole time. But I think there are certain things Rob should take the lead on, and then there's definitely certain things that I will take the lead on. But one of the things I would say is, like we just talked about, is because there's two of them, there's only that, you almost have to play man to man. You can't play zone defense here, right? I'm playing zone defense right now because there's only two of us. There's the four of them. So I would say we are, it is a partnership, and you both have to be on the same page across some core pillars. It doesn't have to be everything, right? There has to be flexibility.
If there is a disagreement, right? Let's say there was, like, you have a deal breaker, all right, whatever it may be. How do you guys decide, like, who's going to win, basically, right? Because this is always like a big issue when it comes to marriage in general, be it with twins, be it singletons or whatever. But when you are married for a bit of time, right? And you're pretty much newlyweds in all sincerity. So not only are you navigating the life of twin parenting, but you're also navigating the life of marriage. So it's like a real baptism by fire that you're going through, right? So there's people who've been married for 10 years before a child comes into the picture, and you're doing all of this at once. What are some of the things that you guys have kind of butt heads on? And then how did you solve that? Because that's, I'm not saying that your way is going to be right for everyone, but I just love to give people choices on how families negotiate deal breakers with each other. So if there was something that was like super important to you, be it like the kids need to go to bed at, 7 o'clock, and Robin's like, oh, they should stay up a little earlier or go to sleep, later or whatever. How do you guys have that discussion? Is it a discussion? Is it the person who shouts the loudest? Is it the person who gives in first? Because those are all potentials, and there's nothing wrong with any of them, depending on, how your partner feels. But how do you guys specifically negotiate that?
That's a really great question.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, Josh.
Yeah, listen, there you go. That's why you are who you are. That's why you are who you are. That is, we were. I think our relationship is built off being best friends, and that's so corny, right?
No, not at all. It's wonderful. That shouldn't be corny anymore. That's reality now. My husband's my BFF.
I mean, and I think if you've got that, and this is not me preaching, but like, if you've got that in place, Robin and I will both be the first people to say we're extremely passionate and extremely fiery characters, right? So our blow-ups are ginormous, like our shouting matches are ginormous. But it's like, it will be very quick, and it'll be, it'll normally be myself that's the one that flies off the handle. And then, it'll take me like 30 minutes, and I'll be like, shit, I should have taken a second, right? I should have just taken a step back and looked at Robin's perspective, and then vice versa. Robin's got a great one. She's, I'm like, at the end of an argument, she's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm like, she's not apologizing to me. She's been like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, right? And I'm like, I'm like, you're dead right. It's a running joke that we have now. She'll never actually apologize to me. She'll just apologize for the way the way that I'm interpreting.
I already love her. She's my spirit animal. That's my girl.
She is the legend. She is a legend that is. So I think we definitely clash. Anyone that says they don't is lying. Like, I think, but one of the things, that I would say is that I think it comes from a great place in terms of the relationship and the friendship, but it comes from the passion and the I think that we're both very strong-willed, so we will clash super hard, and then give it 20-30 minutes, I'll be like, I probably should have backed off. So there's probably no one real thing we butt heads, or there's no mainstay that we butt heads on, because as I said just before, is we have those fundamentals, i.e. the bedtimes, the routines, what we feed the kids, right? I always laugh. I always said before I was a parent, we'd limit screen time, and we'd not give them, we'd not let them watch TV.
Of course.
That when yourself out without the window within minutes. Just give me some time. But the thing for us is that the diet, the kid, we always wanted to never give, even to this point, we're pretty sparse in terms of the amount of like sugar that we give the kids. Just because I don't need a hyper 2-year-old running around when I've got 6-month-olds to look after as well. Now, not to say that we don't give them treats or anything like that, but they're the kind of things that we got in place, and we said that actually it's probably I'll look at the other side of your question and say, what are the non-negotiables that we set in place so we don't have to butt heads about it, is the way I would probably look at it. But yeah, we have arguments. Geez, like we have massive blow-ups, and we always said that any blow-ups you have after 11 o'clock at night, just don't worry about it. Don't hold it against anyone. That's like the code of conduct. Like whatever you say between the hours of 11 and 6 a.m., especially with newborns, you never meant any of it, because
That's
she's
it.
full.
I give it an extra hour. So in Twiniversity class, we say you just shouldn't speak to each other after midnight. That's it. That's it. Just literally just don't, unless it's like dirty, don't talk about it. Like that's it. That's going to be the one kind of out that you would get. But yeah, it gets really heated because sleep deprivation is no joke. And you guys haven't even had a break. You haven't had a break. You literally said, I do. You were like knocked up in 7 seconds flat. And then you would throw into.
How long it lasted as well.
Oh my God. And then seriously, so it was like days between the time that she wasn't pregnant till she was pregnant again.
Yeah.
Now, how I'm going to wildly make an assumption that wasn't planned.
No.
Or just so it wasn't, because some people are like, nope, we got married. We just want to crank them out. And here we go. So you now have been thrown into marriage, thrown into twin parenthood, thrown right back into pregnancy, thrown right back into twin parenthood, and going through it with boys. So you kind of had like your girl sea legs and you're like, okay, I got this. Now you have your little dudes. Do you feel more comfortable with your little dudes because you feel like you could relate to them better since you were a little dude at one time versus the chicks?
Another great question. I am like equally obsessed with either set, right? And I'm going to be very political here, but ask me, I am so glad I had girls first, right? The fact that I'm a girl dad is like phenomenal. My girls are, and I'm going like get emotional here, but like my girls are my everything. They're like, they are just these little these little balls of sunshine, right? They are, and it's probably that the boys are only 6 months, so they're not running up to me and giving me hugs, or you hear them on the nannic camera in the morning, like dada and all this kind of stuff. So like I'm yet to experience that with the boys. We're starting to get like little babbles, but like the fact that we've had the girls first is amazing. I am so happy, and it's International Women's Day, or it's International Women's Week this week. The fact that I am a girl dad and a twin girl dad is I'm so here for that, and it's like I'm obsessed.
It's the best. I have one of each, and I have to say, and when you have your next set, you're going to have one of each. Just giving you a heads up on that. And then we actually have a member, Fran. Go back and listen to her podcast. She has 3 sets exactly the way that you're having yours. So your next set is going to be boy girl. So you can look forward to that. That'll be good. That'll be the doctors are making plenty of money off you guys.
Yeah, I'm having a procedure done at the beginning of April, so it won't be mine if they.
Is it the kit that you bought from Amazon because you don't even have time to leave the house?
Listen, the team at Columbia, New York Presbyterian, Dr. Miller and his crew, they are miracle workers. He was like, you need to, before you leave, like if you're planning on having any more,
because you're coming up on that time.
Absolutely not. We're in separate beds right now until I'm done that.
Oh my God. So in all sincerity, because you have that fire and that passion that leads you to be fighty people, clearly it goes right into your romanticals because you did get pregnant right away. Now that you have these 2 sets, how do you guys navigate that, right? I always find that it's really weird that nobody talks about this, right? Like we're supposed to have kids and then like never have sex again. That's never going to happen, right? That's just, well, maybe it happens to some people. I feel bad for those people, but you certainly don't have to give up that part of yourself just because you had kids. I know that for me personally, my husband and I worked out a system called Batman and Chocolate Milk, where we would put on an episode of Batman, give them 2 sippy cups of chocolate milk, and we knew that maybe we had 8 minutes if we were lucky, but we'll take it. Have you guys figured out your own Batman and Chocolate Milk system?
No. I think honestly,
you got to get on that. There we go. 6 months here now.
There you go. I think we got pregnant. There you go. I'm doing the wee thing, and I think we got pregnant. Literally the first time we had sex after the. No, maybe the second. She
is Miss Fertility, is what she is. There should be a statue made of her that we should all worship.
That is it. Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're called my daughters. They're the statues of her.
Oh.
There you go. They are both, yeah, very, as chippy as her, which is great. So yeah, there is no Batman and chocolate milk routine right now. Yeah, and not
I can't think that far. Do you know if Tom has a system like that? Like, have you guys ever discussed that on your podcast?
Actually, I might. That'll be the episode name.
Could we make a request? Could we do like whatever the kids call it, a collab? And so I want to know if so, Tom, since he's the future you, right? So what is he doing in the future, and how has he figured that out? Because I know like a lot of dads always want to know, right? So in the beginning, it's such, obviously it's such an important factor to every relationship. And then once your wife gets pregnant with, a very fragile pregnancy of a twin pregnancy, and then dads feel a way about even approaching that because they don't want anything, God forbid, to happen. Did you guys have discussions about how you were going to kind of handle, intimacy and sexy time during pregnancy? Or like, does that even come up as an actual discussion, or are you guys just going with the flow?
It was never really a conversation. It was like you said, I think we were just very go with the flow.
Yeah. But that's good. I think that speaks volumes to you. There are some dads who are just that we did like a little Twiniversity study when I wrote the book the first time back 600 years ago. So now it's the second edition that's out. But when we wrote the first time, I polled 1,500 families in Twiniversity. This was like at the dawn of Twiniversity. And I was like, okay, let's find out what you want to know, the things that you needed, the things that your partner did, the things that your partner didn't do. And we found out that out of that 1,500, there was a shit ton of people that were already divorced, and their twins were like 3. So then I started doing a little bit more research and digging. And then I found out that it is true that parents of twins have a higher rate of divorce than the national average, which already sucks.
Yeah.
And so then I actually went back and I polled all the divorced families that responded. And so I said, like, what do you think happened? Or where do you think things went wrong? And so the moms, if I had to say, like, if you look at like those thought bubbles, like the biggest thought bubble was that she just wanted to feel appreciated and seen. Because like we said in the beginning, like I would look at my husband and be like, you were at work all day. Right. Yeah. And then you have dads that were like, well, I was at work all day and you got to watch the first steps and hear the first words and feed the first foods. And I didn't get to do any of that because I had to do that. So then you had the moms who felt unappreciated and the dads who felt resentful that the moms were upset. But also we found out that dads were really missing the intimacy portion, but it wasn't the swinging from the chandeliers. It was the, am I still your number one? Because you have these kiddos and then it's like you could easily feel, 3rd, 4th, or 5th place in your house. And
I'm all the way down. I've got a dog as well. I'm below that.
So in 6th place, do you ever sometimes feel like you are like the last person to receive any bit of love or tenderness from your wife? And if you ever felt that way, like, what do you do? Do you go and say, you have to smooch me right now before I explode? Like, do you approach it with humor, or you're still so in the trenches that you haven't, knock on wood, even had to worry about that yet?
Yeah, we're like, as I said, I don't think we've ever put any, and especially since we've had the kids, and I'm not surprised that those, you mentioned those stats there. I'm not surprised that divorce within twin families is higher than the national average, right? It is so hard to be a twin parent, right? Nothing can prepare you for it. And even our podcast, the stuff that you and the team do, right? There's that moment when somebody says, you leave the hospital and like, right, they're yours, see you later. You're like, oh my gosh, right? There is, and as I said, I think it is the element of, there's 2 of them. There's only 2 of you. There's no respite. There's no, all of this encompassing, right? It is so hard. Like, there is nothing that can prepare you for that first night on your own. And you're like, oh my Lord. but with Robin and I think, like, as I said earlier, like, I think there's never been any pressure on that, and it's all been very, what will be, and what will happen will happen.
Yeah.
We've never been like, oh my God, it's been like 2 months or anything like that, or oh my God, it's been 2 weeks, or like that kind of thing. It's very much like, as I said, it goes back to, this relationship was built off that friendship. She is she, I'll get slated for this, but like, she is my best friend, right?
Yeah.
And it is all built off that, and it was never, so I think for me, we've never really put any pressure on ourselves. And also, we are, like you said, we are in the trenches right now. We're back-to-back twins within 2 years. We're still we're still there. And I think the bits, and there's different forms of intimacy, right?
Absolutely.
It's like you said, there's not just the swinging from the chandeliers. It's the actually, after you put the kids down to bed, just sitting with each other and decompressing and having some food, or having a glass of wine together, or in the morning just having a cup of tea or having a coffee together, right? That there's different levels of intimacy as well. And I think there was many a times where we've been like, we put the bed, everyone's in bed by 7:15, and then I'm like, fuck, I need to go to bed. And we've on multiple occasions been like, no, we just need some us just to sit there, watch whatever's on Netflix, watch whatever's on HBO, and just like I said, just decompress. And I think I would always tell this funny story, with Robin, like, when she was on mat leave, she's just gone back to work after, or however long, but like, I came home from work and we put the kids to bed, and that was 7, and at 9 o'clock I had to turn around to her and be like, hey, like, baby, you haven't stopped talking, like, since we put the kids to bed. Like, I haven't even said a word, Robin. And she just was like, Josh, I've not spoken to any humans today. I've not spoken to anyone, so it's that, like, as a as a partner, and again, I use that word, it doesn't mean, as a partner, it is a partnership. The whole thing is a partnership, right? And you have to concede, you have to make allowances, and like I said, you have to listen for 2 hours sometimes, and just don't say anything, just nod, be polite.
You're so good, Josh. I mean, honestly, I hope
this is where my wife will listen to this. She'll be like, this is all bullshit.
But you know what? Honestly, even if it's bullshit, I'll still buy into it right now.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
So that's it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And I love that. And I weirdly, I will say that I think a huge benefit was the pandemic for you guys. You guys were really like locked in together, and you had to make choices together without any outside noise. And you had these twins. And so, like, weirdly, as horrible as it was for the country, we're finding so many benefits for families that came out of it. And, just being home and having extra time that maybe you would have filled with, XYZ, and you couldn't. So you're really incredible. And honestly, I think if anybody deserves 2 sets of twins, it's definitely you. So I don't wish that on anybody, but I love how you have that partnership. And I think it's very, very inspiring. And I think it's hopeful. So if there's dads that are listening to this, or even moms that are listening to this, and they're less than satisfied with their own relationship, it's hopefully this is a wake up that, like, good people really do exist, and you can really have your cake and eat it too, but it's never going to happen unless you actually have a discussion about it. There's nobody that's ever going to be a mind reader in a partnership. It's just not something, unfortunately. I wish we would, I wish that we could be mind readers, but we can't. It's not, we didn't get ESP with that pregnancy.
There you go. And I, also, like, it's not, it's not any relationship, again, I feel like this is like Jerry Springer or something like this now, but, like, any relationship is not all rosy, right? There's not to say that we've not been through any trials and tribulations, right? The first pregnancy with the girls was extremely hard. Like, we had everything anything that could go wrong with
Yeah.
an identical pregnancy, TTCS, TAPS, growth. We had it all.
Oof.
We had it all. We
Oh,
had
Josh,
everything.
I'm sorry.
We had the trifecta.
Ugh.
Robin was in the hospital for the girls were born at 34 weeks, right? So for the final 8 weeks, we were in
Wow.
the hospital 3 times a week, every week. Scans, I remember being sat and having it drawn out to us what TTS was, what TAPS was, what
Yeah.
growth restriction was, and one of the girls came out at 2 pounds, whatever, 2 pounds 4. I don't know. I can't remember what it was now. The other one, the other girl was just over 3 pounds, right? So they spent, and you go through NICU together.
Yeah.
We had 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 and a bit weeks in NICU, and that again is so you go from 8 weeks prior driving into the hospital 3 times a week, then you go back, and then they're born when it should be this fantastic time, and it was, like, don't get me wrong, but then you've also then got to go through 3 weeks driving to the hospital 2 times a day, being there for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, and we were very lucky, right, in the sense of our girls were only in the NICU for feeding and growth, right, so they got to 4 pounds, whatever it needed to be. So the miracle workers that are the doctors and nurses,
Absolutely.
they are, they're some of the stuff that they do is just, you can't even fathom the amazing
But that's
work
so hard though, Josh. Honestly, even just to support somebody emotionally through that, like that's heavy, and that's a lot. And that first pregnancy, seriously, I just realized the time, and I could easily, like you said, when you're talking to Tom, I could easily see this going 6 hours, but I could see now how you're talking about anxiety with the boys because of everything that happened with the girls. You're still kind of, you didn't even get a chance to recover from that. Like you didn't even have a chance to recover from the trauma of the pregnancy, the challenge of the delivery, the time in the NICU before you guys turned it around and got to do it all again.
And you know what? Like, the pregnancy for the boys could not have been the complete opposite.
That's awesome.
Robin went 38 weeks.
God bless her, man.
Like, popped out two nearly 6 pound babies, and
awesome.
we literally day 2 went home. Like, that first night I drove down to Sugarfish in Manhattan, Midtown, picked her up sushi, drove all the way back up to New Presbyterian. We sat there, and the next day they were like, right, get out of here. We were like, oh God, here we go again. Here we go.
Oh, but you did it.
And she walked out of the hospital like I nothing but admiration for Robin and for all mothers and all women out there, the stuff that you have to go through.
Yeah.
If that was me, I would not be going. I'd be one and done. From a
that's why you guys don't have the babies.
There you go.
Yeah, we would have like a population of 9. That's how that would go. So we're okay. We accept our responsibility as the birth givers of the world. We know how this goes.
There you go. But
you're just amazing. Honestly, Josh, it's a lot that you guys have gone through. And I'm so glad that you're telling your story. And I love that you and Tom really got something good going on. And twin dads really, really, really do need just that support and connection. And I always say, like, misery loves company, right? So it's always good to hear that other people are going through the shitstorm and other people are having challenges. But at the end of the day, we do what we got to do, and the sun rises again tomorrow, and then we get to figure it out and fix whatever we did wrong or redo whatever we did right. So it's great, and I'm so proud of you. And I know that's a lot, and especially being here with no family too. That's tough, buddy. Like, seriously, like without like your family here and just having shoulders that you could lean on. That's really tough. I take my hat off to you. You're pretty extraordinary, and I hope that Robin realizes that she's the same.
Yeah, no, we're day by day, right? And I think, just to your point there, like, making mistakes and all of that kind of that's part and parcel. Like, we have made the same mistakes that we made in pregnancy 1, and then in we've made the same mistakes we made with the girls early on. We're making them again now. Like there is no, trust me, there's a few things, there's a few things we've done better, but and there's a few things we definitely haven't done better. And there's a few things that we said we wouldn't do again, and we did again. So there's no secret recipe to this. I'm going through this for a second time, and I'm still, I was going to say I'm still messing it up. Like,
yeah, you are. That's the way it is. I mean, I think nobody really. I don't think anybody's a perfect parent. And the day that somebody says they are, like, seriously, if you see somebody online that's like, I'm the parenting expert, I'm this, it's all bullshit. Nobody is. Everybody is faking it till they make it every single freaking day that we get up. That's all that we could do. And I'm doing it for 19-year-olds. I never had 19-year-olds. So what the hell do I know? Right. Yeah. So like I'm navigating that thing of them being, are they adults? Are they kids? Like they still have mushy brains that are still technically developing, but yet the world sees them as they should be out in the workforce and they can vote now. And yes, they can drink. And thank God for whatever reason, my kids don't. And I don't, they probably are, but I weirdly think they're not. But it's like they have free will. And like now, truthfully, your girls do. Right. So 2-year-olds, it sucks that kids have free will. It's the freaking worst thing to happen to any parent. And it happens around 6 months. So here come your boys, because now they're going to discover that, what they could do and bash their brother on the head with a toy. And then he cries and cause an effect and all those good developmental milestones that occur. But we're all winging it, man. And I'm still like, the day that I say I figured it out, there's something seriously wrong. Like you should just admit me into a hospital, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as figuring it out. We're just going, my mom, who's 82, is still figuring it out because she's navigating how to be 82. We're all just making it. We're all just doing our best. And you guys are doing way beyond your best. You guys are really doing great.
We're all on we're all on this journey, right? Each individual, each family is on their own individual journey. Take it and embrace the trials and tribulations it throws at you. Embrace it.
That's it. My final question before I throw you loose: what stroller are you using with the 4?
Oh, so we've got them all right now. Oh, so we're Bugaboo. So we're the Donkey 3, right? We're the Bugaboo Donkey 3. That was the first one we bought for the girls, and then we went to Mexico, not this Christmas, the Christmas before, and we got the Zoe travel stroller. So when the boys came along, the boys moved into the Bugaboo, and the girls have the Zoe travel stroller. So I love the Bugaboo. I think it's phenomenal. For like the newborns, it's so safe. It's like it's the Rolls Royce, but the Zoe stroller is fantastic as well. So we're a split household.
It's interesting because not only is it split, it's one of the most expensive strollers and one of the least expensive strollers. So you literally chose 2 sides of the gamut. There's plenty in the middle for those of you that are listening that you're like, hey, I can't do one or I don't want to do the other. But those are really some solid choices for your 20s. But that's great. It. So you just use 2 doubles when you go out.
2 doubles, just 2 doubles. And that's it really. When I come onto the pod next time, I'll tell you about how I took all 4 kids on a flight to Europe this last December.
Okay, that's good. I love me a part 2. I'm down.
Listen,
Count me in.
So down for that. Down. Well, I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you,
Oh, I love it. Okay, good. Yeah, we're saving that. But we don't have to save everything because we get to listen to you as much as we want. And Tom too. Sorry, Tom, didn't mean to leave you out. But I love that it's there. We're going to link everything in the show notes below. So you'll be able to just click right over. Make sure you like and subscribe Josh's podcast as much as you do mine. But honestly, I would rather you give him the clicks because seriously, I think dads really need a lot more recognition for the awesomeness that they play in the role of our 20s. So you're pretty rocking. And even though it's International Women's Day, I'm going to give you 2 points today. That's it. Just 2. No more than that though. You're not getting the official 10 points. So we're giving you just 2 because it's technically my day, although I don't think anybody does anything for us today. So I think anybody just says things and literally nothing happens. There's no presents. There's no, boozy brunches. It's literally just another day. It's just Friday to me, Josh. That's all it is. But do something nice for Robin and do something nice for your little chicks.
I will do.
See, start the tradition. But Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it.
No, and thank you for all you do for this community. Like seriously, we use the services a lot during the first pregnancy. So thank you for everything.
Aw, that's it, but not the second pregnancy. That's what I heard because I'm a classic woman. So that's okay. I still love
there you go. Well, listen, I've just made my own mistakes at that point.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening today. As always, if you need anything from us, slide into our DMs. We're at Twiniversity on every single platform. Or if you're like, that's too impersonal, you could email us at community@twiniversity.com. And don't forget, every second Tuesday of the month is our membership meeting. Dads are totally welcome. I would say usually we have about 1 or 2 dads max. We usually have like one dad that's like, I'm freaking out. I don't know how to do this. But our buddies are definitely welcome to join. So I hope you guys are able to. Remember, second Tuesday, 1:30 Eastern time. And until next time, guys, see you later, alligators. Thanks for listening.